Hello, hello. Today I'm going to be talking on an important topic, which is a follow up on the last topic I discussed about concerning peer pressure. Today I'm going to be talking about pleasing others through material things. In Nigeria today, there are a lot of things that are beautiful. We see houses, we see cars, we see beautiful dresses that people want to have, and people work towards having them. We ourselves, we aspire to in these things to make life more enjoyable, and these things are not bad, but then the motive behind wanting to get them is what's important. Why do you want to attain these assets, which will be discussed extensively in this episode? There are a lot of things that come to our minds, a lot of things that we want to reach, to achieve, and then the motive behind them, the reason for wanting to attain them, are the things that are important. Why do you want to attain these things? Is it to please others? So if the motive is right, then your desire is not wrong. But when the motive is wrong, the desire is then flawed, and mistakes can be made in the process. So as you watch this video, examine carefully what to be said and how it applies to you. All of us have things that we want to attain in life, but then the motive is the most important thing. And as you watch, I hope this blesses you and you're able to evaluate your motives. So it can be seen that the motive is what's actually very important. The motive behind wanting to attain anything. And if people want to end things because of how they will look like, or because of the social environment they are in, it can affect them in an adverse way. And that's why seeking to please people through material things is not a good way to live your life. When you seek to please people through material things, there are things that happen along the way which will be discussed. So why do people seek to attain these beautiful things sometimes? Having houses, having cars, living in the best areas, having the best clothes. Why do people seek to in these items, or to live a certain way of life? I'll just list now three and then look at it yourself. The first reason could be because they have an urge to please others so that they can meet up to expectations, to standards, to be able to make themselves acceptable to other social groups, because they want to be in a particular set of association. They want to conform to the standards of that association, so they seek to attain these things because of association, because they want to please those that they socialize with and associate with. And that reason could be because they want to prove a point. They want to let others see how their life has become. To maybe someone who looked down on them at a point, it could be their parents, could be friends, and they want to prove a point at this point that, okay, I've attained this certain level in my life and I want to show it off on your face. I want to shove it on your face. That could be another reason, so that they could look good to others, to prove a point to others. Then the third reason could be because they are doing it to fulfill a purpose, a genuine purpose. They are wanting to attain these things to be a blessing, to attain a height in which they can actually fulfill their purposes in life. And I think that's a fair reason why one should want a lot of material wealth. So if your purpose, if your motive for wanting to attain material blessings is wrong, that's a major problem, because you would fall into some mistakes, some traps. The process will lead you to do things that you ought not to do. When you're doing what you're doing to please others, when you're attaining wealth in order to please people around you. And that's why it's wrong to actually want to attain material wealth just to let other people accept you. There are a lot of disadvantages to doing this, wanting to allow other people accept you because of who you are or because of what you have. So you then work so hard just to please others. So it's like you're living your life for other people. And that's why it's so wrong to want to earn a good living because of others. And truly in Nigeria, one way or the other, this is applicable. We see it, and it's good that you examine yourself. Are you doing this to yourself? So I'll be listing some of the disadvantages on why this is so wrong. The first reason is that if you fail, those who you seek to please will reject you. Yes, because they don't really care about you. They just accept you because you form part of their social group. You are accepted. You conform to their patterns and their customs. So once you are out of that, they can easily reject you. And trust me, a lot of people have stories about this, how they can be rejected or how they were rejected when they could no more meet up. So you could be rejected easily once you fall short of the standards. That's one of the disadvantages. And that disadvantage is that you put extra burden on yourself. We see that we have pressures right now, a lot of pressures, economic and other kinds. And then when a person tries to conform to a social standard, the person puts pressure on his or herself. Extra pressure, wanting to attain these things because you want to please others. You have to work so much, working your body to weakness, to extra stress, just because you want to please others. That is one of the disadvantages. Yes, you may aim what you want, but in the long run, you are affecting something very important to you. You may be losing time to spend with God, with your family. You may be losing health in the process just because you want to please others. So these are some of the disadvantages. Another disadvantage is that you cannot become the best version of yourself in that process. You cannot truly fulfill your purpose on earth when you are inspired or motivated by the need for attention, by the need to please others so that you can be accepted. Because you would blend into what they accept, and what you actually ought to achieve in life will become difficult for you to achieve, because you are living your life to please others. So you cannot really fulfill, you cannot bring out your fullness, what God has given to you. It will be difficult for you to finally manifest it. That's the truth. That's why it's so dangerous to try to please others. It's so dangerous when you live your life trying to please others. You should not be against trying to make people happy, but at the same time, let your life not be centered around it. Let it be centered on making God happy. That should be the first reason why you should be doing something, to make God happy. The last point is that you would live your life based on the acceptance, the validation of others. You would experience happiness when people accept you. You get validation from the acceptance of others. So if people don't accept you, you may feel invalid. You may feel like you've not achieved what you ought to achieve, because you have based your performance on the judgment of others, not on God or the truth. So when you think about these things, you see that pleasing others is actually not worth it. It actually brings you down to a lower version of yourself. So in life, we should endeavor to avoid living our lives to please others. That's just one point I want you to keep in mind. In Matthew 19:23, Jesus was speaking to the disciples. Matthew 19:23. Jesus in 23 says, "Then Jesus said to his disciples, Assuredly I say to you, that it is hard for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven." I've been going through this passage, and while I was meditating, I discovered that it's not exactly because a person is rich cannot enter the kingdom of heaven. It's because of the intent, the motive in his heart. When someone is rich, what would be the person's priority? In this context, just was talking about when the person's priority is on his wealth or our wealth. When you are focused on material things instead of the things that truly matter, you indeed would not be able to get to the target of Jesus Christ. That's the kingdom of heaven. Because you are full of the material wealth, the material things that life can bring. And in the course of trying to please others, you are pushing material wealth. And in that circumstance, in that case, you are now giving most of your time, most of your energy to chasing wealth instead of the things that actually matter. Number one, God. You lose friends, you lose family, you lose things that you ought not to have lost because your priority was on the wrong thing. That's why it's so dangerous to be focused on materials. Don't get me wrong, you should be responsible, you should try to meet your needs, you should try to meet your obligations. But you get when I'm talking about trying to get material wealth to please others. Because you want to be accepted, you do these things, which is wrong. So when your focus is on your wealth, definitely you cannot please God, and you cannot, in fact, become part of His kingdom. You cannot be part of His kingdom. And so there are a lot of disadvantages to living a life full of acquiring just to please others. It's still part of peer pressure. I spoke about it in the last video. So you need to examine yourself. Are you living life so you can please others, or are you living life to fulfill the purpose that God has given to fulfill on earth? There's so much danger to this kind of lifestyle, and you actually live a lower quality of life in this process. You may be enjoying moments, but you won't really be fulfilled in that way. In Proverbs 24:1-2, New King James Version, it says, "Do not be envious of evil men, nor desire to be with them. For their heart devises violence, and their lips talk of troublemaking." Do not desire to be with a certain class of people because of what they have, or because of their level of status in the society. Because you feel they're respected, they're honored, so you want to be in their class. Meanwhile, what did they do to attain that height? You did not know. And then when you try to be like them, you then have to follow the process they followed and corrupt yourself in that process. Have you not seen this kind of things? If you are not careful, this can be a pattern that you may fall into. Because you're trying to please a certain kind of class of people, you then follow a certain kind of lifestyle that leads to your destruction. This is not the will of God. So when you are doing anything, look at the motive. Why are you doing this? What is pushing you? What makes you wake up every day to try to achieve something? Are you trying to do that so you can make the world a better place? Or are you trying to do that so you can please a certain class of people? A class of people that you feel are the best. Think about your motives. If you're doing everything you're doing so someone or people can be impressed, can give you a thumbs up, then you're doing it wrong. The person you should seek to please every day is God. And when you're trying to please God, you do what you ought to do. The purpose would be to help others and help the world while helping yourself at the same time. And you be focused on God, not focused on others. Don't live your life based on the validation of others. Don't wait till someone tells you you are doing good before you know you are doing good. If you're doing good, you would know. Once you know what God says and you're doing it, you're doing good. Don't let your life be based on what people say about you, on the acceptance of others. This is very important. It's very important that you have this at the back of your mind. Live to fulfill purpose. Don't live to please anyone. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Share to someone that you know that may need it, and like it. Subscribe if you haven't to watch more videos. Thank you.